We're on. Those of you at home, I appreciate you waiting for us to get started a little bit late. We had a budget meeting which began at 6 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock we did the Pledge of Allegiance. But normally, if I would ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence. A member of our town police department, the village police department, and a longtime great resident of the town of Fort Montgomery, George Wood, passed away. And I'd like us all to remember the service that George Wood gave the town of Highlands. And I would also ask his, I think, cousin, Richard, to say something about George.
Not my cousin, but a mentor of mine.
Okay.
It's okay if I speak now, Bob? In my
Yes.
early days in
Yes.
Bear Mountain, George was a police officer that took me under his wing. I saw him one time during the ski jumps, which would get 10,000 people at it, administer CPR to a person, and he saved that person's life. And to allude to the town of Highlands Police Department, back in my youth, they worked out of Bob Bailey's house. Bob Bailey has a plaque down at Brooks's Park, and he had 3 officers working for him, and that was our police department. That was Church File, Jim Willis, and Mr. George Wood. Excellent community service from all 3 of them. Mr. Wood was a good friend and will be sorely missed.
Thank you. We got the minutes of September the 12th. Someone like to approve them?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried, thank you. I transferred $164,349 from the consolidated account to the accounts payable account to cover this week's check run. There's a couple more transfers I have to make, which I didn't get to yet. But on this report, Global Montello for diesel fuel, $10,407. Highland Falls Library for their quarterly contribution, $62,803. Rockland County Solid Waste for hauling, $15,980. Stryker Ambulance Stretcher, $19,166. And Ward Paving for Krieger Road, $35,810. And Kelly, the ambulance Stryker, what is?
That's the system that we bought last year.
No, I know what it is, but is that a payment or is that?
Yep, 3 payments, that's the second one, we have 1 more next year.
Okay. Any questions other than that one?
No.
Liaison reports, start with Richie, please.
Thank you. Okay. Thankfully for everybody listening, I'm not that well prepared, so this won't be that long. The Zoning Board of Appeals, they had their monthly meeting last Wednesday, which was September 21st, at which they had a public hearing for a property on Sweezy Avenue, which required some area variances. There is a drainage pipe running through that property, which the applicant has to deal with the Village of Highland Falls engineer. So the public hearing was not closed. It'll be continued next month here at Town Hall, 7 o'clock on October 19th. And that was all they had on their agenda. Planning. I got there just as everybody was going home because I had another meeting I had to go to that night. And I think the primary subject was 341 Main Street, the church up there, which I think has had some fairly drastic changes to the design. So he's back at the drawing board working things out, and being I don't know much more than that, that's as much as I'll say. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, just it's close to an approval process. It was
significant in the sense that they removed the lower parking area.
Okay. So next meeting, if anybody wants to attend, which will be the third Thursday of the month, whatever date that happens to be. And the other matter that they had before them, I got there later on, they discussed it, is the request for a zoning change at the town board down on Mine Dock Road, specifically 30 Mine Dock Road. I think there's some other properties involved, to change it from R1R to R5. And I'm not going to talk a lot about that subject because we need to discuss it. It is before us. Just bear in mind, there is public sewer down there, but there is no public water down there. There is none. You have to bear that in mind. R5 is high density. With the building department, I met with Philip and Gabby last Thursday to go over some hot ticket items, which there aren't that many. Up here, I want to get this right. The Thayer Spa site, former Penn Fed building, Christina Hotel and whatnot. So it's had the fence taken down, the fence is back around it. Everything inside that fence meets the criteria to close out the demo permit for the building department. The Village of Highland Falls engineer and his assistant Justin Grove, I think is his name, have been involved with this sidewalk. I think it might be close to being acceptable temporarily, therefore vanquishing the demo permit and closing it out in the not too distant future. Those demo permits are all expired. Rather than charging the applicant $250 for each one all over again, I think the building department is going to stick with $50 in an effort to be obliging to people trying to build in this community. So that's where that's at. The reason I was late for the planning board meeting is I was invited down to the Fort Battle site meeting. I went down there last Wednesday night. They had a lot of people at that meeting. Michael Graber and Doris Lent were kind of chairing it. Stella wasn't there that night. They're looking for young blood in the organization as well as in the Historical Society. This coming Saturday is Twin Forts Day, where they have, the reenactors and the people there. I hope that people come and support that in large numbers. And what I wanted to say, because I didn't have a chance to do a lot of research on this, so the Supreme Court back in June passed something that affected New York gun laws. I'm not going to talk about what it was because I don't really know. New York, not long after that, enhanced their own gun laws. And I don't want this to discourage anybody. What that means at the moment is a reenactor with a flintlock rifle can't reenact with a flintlock rifle in the state of New York. They can in New Jersey, but they can't use them in the state of New York right now. So we're hoping to contact a few people to get that worked on. I want people to please go there. Just if you don't see them firing rifles, that would be the reason why, because of that law. I forget the number of the law, but it was passed in June of this year. Chamber of Commerce had a nice little 5K community day up at Roe Park on Saturday. I went, took a few drone pictures. For those that care, I did my 5K walking in 48 minutes. I want to thank Charlene and the Chamber for Mary Jane was up there, for the hard work that they're doing. And I think they put it on Facebook that they will be doing Trunk or Treat. I don't know if it's October 30th. It's the last weekend in October, if I'm not mistaken, And they have had a lot of success with that last year, the Trunk or Treat, the Dancing Under the Stars, so I'm glad to see them moving forward. Now, I'm not well prepared with water. Everybody knows, I've talked about it, that in our water district we have a negative fund balance. It goes for a number of reasons. Here's what I'm concerned with. We know there's a lot of meters that don't work because of 5G and 3G and whatnot. If you all saw the sewer flows, and the sewer district and the water district are just about synonymous with one another. I sent out the sewer flows, which was less than an average of 60,000 gallons per day. Very low flow month for the month of August. Our water, if you go by the village master meter, is up probably about 25% during a drought, which concerns me because we cannot tell if there is a leak somewhere. And I was at the village master meter back in May when they came and they did a test on it to test its accuracy. I don't like the method that they use for it, but they claimed that meter is pretty much target on. So we have some work to do, and at the next meeting, I'm going to ask for an executive session for the method I want to go with a firm that can come in and do a full-scale audit of all 436 customers, recommend what we need to do to fix them. There's 197 that are cellular, half of which aren't working. The radio meters, I'm being told, are obsolete. I love the things because they work. You go up to the house at the meter, you come back to town hall, and the data is there. So that's something Kelly has to help me with. I have not had the time to generate an email upon which everybody to act when I have these people come. They're called JCO, and they tell me that they're professional services. We'll have to decide if that needs an art. That's what they tell me, what they do. Town of Fishkill, or the Village of Fishkill, they had 5,000 meters that were messed up. Washingtonville, I think they had like 3,000 that were messed up. Digital meters are a problem everywhere. And I'm going to make this statement. I wish we were full analog with clipboards, and I mean that with all my heart. And that's my report.
Thank you. Gee, can you follow that one up, Ty?
No.
Hey, Rich, the radio things, that's the one where you drive up,
At
just
the
drive
Trimble.
by the house
Yeah.
and they work.
They work for a while. Kelly can allude to this. There was a computer they used here when I first started in this job. There was a Windows 7 computer that was obsolete. So that was a big deal. I don't know if that meter, it goes to Leslie, doesn't it?
The Trimbles are obsolete now. The Trimble that we used to read the meters is going to be no longer.
They might be obsolete, but they come in with accurate numbers, don't they? When a Trimble comes in with a number, you have a number that you can pretty much trust, don't you?
Barely hanging on. You know, and once it dies, we're done.
I know about the technology, but the number is accurate. Cellular is the future, and they stink.
Yeah, no, I cannot do
2 weeks from now?
What? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilman King?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. Not a lot from me this evening. The one thing that I wanted to mention is that it appears that we have finally come to an amicable agreement with the PBA with agreed upon points that just have to be solidified, but I think we're there. That said, we have had, as many in the public may know, some turbulence in our force with folks resigning because of their various goals or reasons, and then we've had a changeover in our chiefs. And we congratulate everybody that moved on to greater things, and we thank those for their service who've been here in the past. And I just want to say that the expectation is high for our force, and so now that we have a agreement, we expect to enforce the rules to that degree. And that's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Always waiting for the official.
Oh.
Anyway,
DeWitt.
thank you, sir. I was out for the last meeting. I was lucky enough to have a nice run of freelance work around UN Week in New York. So I missed all the fun activities of, again, saying goodbye to Pat Patterson and welcoming Gary Boyce and Tiffany Montalese as the Deputy Highway Super. So again, sorry I missed all that the other week, but congrats to them. And Ty, I heard you gave a recycling report in my place. So
I had your back.
Thank you very much. I heard the numbers were always good. Always told they're good. Really, otherwise it's quiet. I just, Tiffany has to remind the big thing, the Dial-A-Bus Saturday runs are back on the table. You can do over-the-mountain trips, going to ShopRite, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, and Newburgh Mall. That's, again, the Dial-A-Bus is now running on Saturdays. You can make a reservation. Call 845-446-7433. And, of course, all that information is at highlands-newyork.gov. Or you can always call up the Highway Department. They got a number for Dial-A-Bus up there if you need more information. But for people in the community who need rides over the mountain, Saturdays are back on. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin, no, you'll have something later. Chief, you have anything for us? Nothing at all, huh? Sure.
Nothing at all.
Kelly, you have anything? Okay. Justin, if you would explain the resolution that we are going to put forth tonight?
Sure. You're well into budget season, and for the last several years, you have passed a local law that authorizes you to exceed the tax levy limit established in the general municipal law. So this resolution introduces that local law. It schedules a public hearing on that for October 10th at 7 o'clock. It does not determine whether or not you do exceed the tax levy limit. It just gives you the ability to do so should you need to after your budget negotiations are complete. And so it's a preemptive measure to ensure good planning for your town. So this resolution simply introduces that local law and schedules the public hearing.
Okay, we have this resolution to introduce and schedule a public hearing to receive public comments concerning the enactment of a local law to override the tax levy limit established by General Municipal Law, Section 3C. That public hearing would be on the 10th day of October at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall. Notice of such a public hearing should be in the official newspaper of the town, specifying the time, place, and date, and it's got to go in the paper 5 days prior to the public hearing. Posting of such a notice with a copy of such local law in accordance with requirements of the municipal home rule. I ask for a motion to move the resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan,
Aye.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt,
Aye.
Supervisor Lipsy.
Aye. I have a request from Judge Minetti. She'd like to attend the Magistrates Association Conference and asking the town board to authorize my attendance pursuant to the General Municipal Law 77B2. There are ample funds allotted in the court training budget for this purpose. I'll ask a question now. Once we approve the budget and with funds for such a conference, is there any reason why we have to authorize her going?
No, it's a budgeted expense. No, I mean, but often you do just want to know which conferences they are attending, right? Several, I think the assessor lets you know, the building inspector lets you know. I don't know that you need to approve it, but it is good information to have.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion to approve Judge Minetti going to...
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Kelly, is she next door?
Yeah, I already spoke to her about it.
Okay, but she has to have something in by
I sent it
tomorrow.
in.
It's all taken care of. I should have known. Really, I should have known better.
But we're glad you approved it.
Yes.
I have a letter from Gary Boyce, the current town. Hi, Gary Boyce, current town Highlands Highway Superintendent. I would like to appoint Tiffany Monteliz as Deputy Highway Superintendent effective immediately upon approval.
Did I drop the bomb on that?
What?
I thought it was already out there.
It was suggested.
Yeah, he has to prove it.
All
So I,
I thought I missed that already.
we
I
gotta
thought it
do
was
a
done.
motion?
Yeah.
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor of hiring, or
Pointing.
an appointment of Tiffany Monteliz as Deputy Highway Superintendent, effective immediately and at the salary schedule.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Congratulations, Tiffany, if you're listening. Kelly received a final report from our intern. It's a long, comprehensive report, therefore I'm not reading it at tonight's meeting, but I did send it, or I think Kelly sent it to everybody, did you? So it's very interesting, and she did one hell of a good job on it. And I want to thank Erica Fronte very much for the work that she did. And I think she did it, I'll call it painlessly. She saw all the department heads, got her information that she needed, and did a very good job on the report. As Ty mentioned, we've gotten to the point where the police contract has been, I'm assuming, approved by the PBA.
That's
It's ready
accurate.
for our approval. I read through it, and I didn't find anything that, as far as I was concerned, was wrong with it. Justin, you have an opinion on it?
Certainly, I'll defer to Councilman King, who helped negotiate it. Yes, no, I think you have a good 4-year plan, which is beneficial to the town and the force to have stability in the contract language for a full 4 years. It's at a level raise for each of those 4 years, which in certain contracts has been difficult to maintain. So I think it was favorable in that basic numerology. It works at the concerns of your current chief and your former chief and of the force at attempting to schedule in a better, more comprehensive manner and hopefully accommodates some of those concerns. And it changed a little bit with respect to longevity steps, removing an early step and inserting a later step, which hopefully has the benefit of, over time, rewarding the officers who stay in your community and work long-term, as opposed to some of the younger officers who come and go, get good experience and fine, but rather than consistently having bumps in their salary, but this rather rewards the people who stay longer. So overall, I think it, it largely continues the agreements that you have had in place, but with more than tweaks, but good tweaks to hopefully enhance that relationship and the management issue.
And Chief, I had a brief email exchange with you, and you said as far as you could see that you had no problems with it.
The
Am I
PBA
correct in saying that?
president read it to me Friday.
Yeah.
As I was driving to Delaware for about an hour and 7 minutes. So it appears that it's going to be a workable
Good.
agreement.
And I think, Richie, you mentioned that you didn't see the numbers for the salaries.
I didn't see their current salary.
It's
Sure.
basically 3% of the current
All the way
salary.
through.
Yeah, so we didn't calculate those numbers yet, because as they were still in flux with negotiations, we didn't want to make Kelly's department work too often, because the contract ultimately lays out the 22, 23, 24, 25 salaries, but also for each step in the progression. So it's a lot of math, so we wanted to make sure that ultimately the final numbers were approved.
I'll ask this simple question. Does an officer beginning with the town of Highlands on day one receive $25 an hour or more? That was is that yes, Kelly, or no? About that, somewhere around there? Okay.
I can see if I have a copy that has the last
You don't have to do it
years.
now. I mean, I thought that's about where they start at, and I'm aware of what some of the other ones make that have been here for a long time.
I should be able to answer quickly.
I want to thank Ty, and it was, we're almost into the 10th month now.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So in 1/1/21, a brand-new officer started at 2668.
Thank you.
So it'll be
That's a fair
3%
wage.
more than that.
Yes, Ty, thank you very much for the work that you put in on that. Justin, same goes for you. It's nice to see it get done. It probably could have been done 8 months ago, but
We've, as Councilman King has reported, we've been close for about 3 months. Some of that's the attorneys going back and forth, just noodling language, but it is in good shape.
so I'll ask for a motion to allow the supervisor to sign the contract.
Motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sullivan,
Aye.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Councilmember Stewart,
Aye.
Supervisor Livesey.
Aye. And Justin, once you get a clean contract with all the numbers and everything, then I'll sign that. There's no need to
Sure, I'll
sign
let everyone know that the motion was made, and I'll work with Kelly to finalize math, and we'll get that to you within a week or so.
I'd just like to make a little comment here, because I like to talk a lot. So you heard me mention about when Mr. Wood did this years ago, we really did have 3 police officers, and the chief worked at the Silver Vault up on West Point and was available at nighttime. They worked out of his house. Then they worked out of the Fort Montgomery Elementary School when it was closed for about a decade and a half. That building was closed, and they worked out there, pretty much covering with 3 officers. And we would sometimes, there would be MPs from West Point back then that would go through the criteria to be on the force and whatnot. Back in 1996, my older brother was a commanding officer in Troop F in Middletown, and Gary Lent, former judge, called a meeting at the Fort Montgomery Elementary School, and Jimmy O'Donnell, who ran for Congress a few years ago, was his associate. They came and had a meeting on the state police coming here. Nobody was looking to abolish anybody or anything like that. It never happened. And I have to tell you, for a while, I had a tough time driving through town without getting pulled over because people were concerned they were going to lose their jobs. So I just want the police, after all these years, and it's hard to find part-time people, to just please be happy. Be happy with the new contract. That's what I'm asking.
Thank you. I'm gonna move into a session, a budget session. I'd like you to stay live. It'd only be about another half hour. So just stay live with us, and how can we do this? You want to move back to where we were before?
Yeah.
Something for public comment?
What's that?
Can I mention something for public comment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The town ambulance Fall Foliage Festival is next Saturday on the 8th, 9 to 4. Just wanted to put that out there.
Good. No, that's good.
Thank you, man.
Good. Very good.
Yeah. Next, when? Just so the mic.
October 8th. October 8th,
October 8th, from
9 to 4.
9 to 4, and where again?
Where?
South Main Street, right?
Oh, South Main Street. Oh, whoa, the Uptown thing?
I
Sorry,
think I'm at dispatch now, I know that.
Councilman DeWitt.
I was not drinking tonight, I promise.
All right, we'll move on up, and
Yep.
the meeting is still in session.
Just wanted to make sure it was on the mic, that's all.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'll see you in the morning.
For those at home, we will have a meeting next Monday, beginning at 6. It'll be a budget session, and it will not be televised.
The Giants game is on at 8:15, just to remind everybody. And I gotta see that game. Just
Well
giving you
aware of
all
that.
a nudge.
Well, I was trying to go yesterday, I was hoping
Yeah. I know, I said the same thing, and no June.
switching seats, that's okay.
Got it rolling, Can you bring that down on your table? Do you mind? My little microphone. It's still rolling. Let's just let it run. Oh God. Hopefully that's working. It should be running. Is it running? Yeah? Okay. The Queen. Oh, we had the English flags on. He wears his Burberry all the time. He's more English than I am. He's got his Burberry coat on all the time.
I had to go get a slice of pizza, but I didn't want to hurt everybody. I didn't want to go.
Okay, who's up next?
Go. Oh, we went to the bathroom?
Okay,
Let's go, John.
Kelly and I'll stick with you.
All right. On the town board
Thanks.
budget, the notice it went up $4,000, that's because, last year, one of our councilmen didn't, accept the salary, so this year we're all accepting salaries. $4,000 because.
I didn't spend any time on it. I just want to say that I have been notified that our person that has the water license in the highway department might have some concerns with just how I get paid for that position. I strongly recommend Department of Health wants a contact person, which means like if something goes wrong, you bear that responsibility. Pat used to do, which he does. Like, town board would condone it, I would go to have it, but the next 3 years, you have somebody in the Department of Health to contact, no problem, so that's.
I did that, I signed a thing.
Yep.
Whatever.
Right, right. And part of his budget, was part of his salary, 5% or something comes out of water district budget. His name is on that now. He may want to approach you about just how we reconcile that. That's his name on there. I got the site report, so just
Understood. Once I got to the town board.
I'm saying if training, yeah, I'd go to Moronville for 2 days and get the license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm getting texted.
One way, and one the other.
Yeah, maybe that'll do it. So that's it for the town.
How's that, better? Yeah.
I'm getting,
You're getting us? 1, 2, 3?
shows the audience coming through.
Okay.
Hold on. Better, okay.
Okay. Okay, the next one is mine, which salary is the same. Confidential secretary or whatever the
Yep.
title is that you have is the same.
No, it's not.
No?
I put in for a raise for myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait,
It's $3,090 right now. I put in 4,000. You look at the first page.
yeah.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So everything's the same excepting for
No, it's not 10. It's a 1,000, it's a 910. It was 3,090.
Oh, all right, okay, I'm adding wrong.
Yeah, not 3,900, it's 3,090.
Okay, and along with salaries, we'll, with that request, with the salary meeting. These are all the things that I'm
I don't-
liaison to.
Right.
The Veterans Assistance, 250 for grave decorations, which remains the same. Juneteenth, $600. That's sound all right? Same as last
Yeah, that was the same as last year. You know, we reduced that because of COVID.
year.
What I would like to see as we come out of COVID is some incremental increases. You know, it could be $100, $50, whatever, some increase to get back to at least where we were at.
Well, let's make it 700.
I agree.
Patriotic observances, that's 2,300 that we usually give to the village for the 4th of July festivities. They use it in different ways. It was, used to pay for a band or something like that.
They used to put it towards the fireworks
Fireworks,
sometimes.
we used to pay part of it.
They didn't ask for it this year.
What, for the patriotic observances?
Mhm.
So we didn't contribute anything?
Oh.
So we didn't have to contribute anything?
Encumbered?
No, just not. I didn't realize that.
If they,
Okay.
it just rolls into the fund balance if it's
Right.
unspent.
Okay, programs for seniors. That's staying the same, 15,000 for the center. The center works out, is really working out.
Yeah, that was a good decision. I want to stick with that
We've
process.
got something going all the time, I think. And everything from a trip next door to a trip to Maine
Yeah.
and all sorts of information they pass out, couple programs they have going on, health and
Yeah.
really a great service that we get.
She asked me to do a sit and chat in November. I'm hoping I get over my intense fear of public speaking before then. We'll see how it goes.
You'll be fine.
It's got me recording,
Beautification, we generally give the garden club $500. The art walk, which we didn't give anything last year, and I'm not sure there's gonna be an art walk this year. Vision for gardens, we, $1,900, and then $100 we just have extra.
And actually, you cut it this year, we're down to, it's usually 3,000, but we brought it down to 2,500. I think that's for the art walk.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So that beautification includes vision
Yep.
and the Patriot Garden or all those things?
The garden club, vision,
Okay.
and then the miscellaneous.
Senior dining program, nothing.
No, they don't do it anymore. Mm-mm.
Communications, somehow I'm the communications officer. The only thing, we have the tower across the river and we pay, what is it, about 24,000 a year, $24,780 a year. And we also, have in equipment, $3,000, which should something get messed up or break or whatever have you, we have money to put towards it. I don't know what that part could be, but
Bob, if you don't mind me asking, who do we pay?
American Tower.
American Tower we pay? No, not Verizon or whatever?
No, American Tower.
Okay.
What's it for police communications?
Yeah, and actually, I had the chief look into it, and I said, "Chief, this thing, I mean, we keep paying. Is there any reason you need this or what have you?" He contacted all the right people, and yes, we need it, even though we're on the county tower, we still have to pay.
I think I was wrong last year. I thought it was the one way up there in Cold Spring. It's the one in Garrison and Paul Hemus's, I believe, that we're
Bouncing
paying
off
for.
that.
It's a repeat, I think it's like a repeater tower, right? You know anything about it? No? I thought you knew all that stuff.
Well, I know about the whole county system,
Oh,
but I don't understand if there's any other
uh,
channel.
You know anything about this with the tower they put up at the senior center up in Highlands of the Village?
What?
There's a pole up there.
Yeah, yeah. Supposedly now, covering the village, listening to the village meeting, there's gonna be a super triangle.
Mhm.
And there's gonna be some antennas on the village hall, that lower tower at the senior center, the bigger tower, I think it's 65-foot tower at the town garage. And that's gonna create a triangle and give the village a lot of, anything would be better than what we got now, but
Oh,
it's gonna
no,
give better
and
service.
something's gotten worse even in the last few weeks. So I don't know what happened, but it's worse. When, do we know when they're activating all these?
Well, we haven't got ours up.
I know we
yet.
have ours up, but there's stuff on the one at, is there stuff on that pole?
flipped the switch yet.
Yeah, they have it, right, okay. Thanks.
Kelly, I guess that was yours.
Debt is mine. So if you look at the sheet I gave you, I tried to put in some detail so we knew what we were looking at here,
Debt.
so. So in the A fund, we have 67% of the backhoe payment. We have the highway superintendent truck and the sanitation vehicle. So that sanitation vehicle, that's the one where we just paid the $40,000, and I think there's a question mark, so, about that. So that's $48,000 that I budgeted for 2023, based on the payment schedule I got from NCL Leasing.
It's not that they don't want to spend the money, they just want to spend it differently,
Right,
with the water meter issue.
right. So we should probably leave that in there, whether it's spent on that particular truck or a different truck. So that's, last year the A fund debt was 33,000, and now it's 71,000, and that's because of the truck.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of number, if they were able to, start it out.
Right,
now.
right. I sent
And they
over,
just told me about it today.
I sent over a copy of the lease agreement.
So, Mr. Ignorant here, you can explain
Mm-hmm.
debt. That means that's a cumulative sum on things that we're paying on notes on these things?
It's the yearly payment we
Okay.
make. I have another schedule here, just in case you wanted to see what the total was, so
No.
for the backhoe, for example.
Just to understand what type of debt it is.
Right,
These are things that require payment?
correct. So that's all A fund. The next section is B fund, so those are the police car leases. And that increased to $10,000, because now we have 2 new leases. One drops off, 2 new came on. So we went from 23,000 last year to 35,000 this year for the police cars. The DA has $18,000, it's about the same as last year, a little less. That's for a highway truck. The DA fund also has the skid steer, so that's almost $26,000 for the skid steer.
We're
And
not done paying on that yet?
the skid steer, no.
We did 2/3, right?
The skid steer is,
We had a vote like 2 years ago. I remember Jim voted no on it to
Yep.
get that skid steer, and I thought at the time we were paying 2/3 of it, or something like that.
Well, the A fund and the DB fund pay for it,
Okay.
right? So it ends in 2024, the last payment. And then the highway truck, there's 33% of that coming out of the DB fund. And the backhoe has, and then you were asking me about the stretcher system, Bob, for the ambulance. Yeah, the last payment for that is, I think, next year. Yep, 2023. So that's $20,000. And then, so the sewer, which we've been budgeting $95,000 for debt payments, now that we finalized with the EFC, the actual payment's $113,239. And that's the sewer fund. That doesn't affect the tax cap. So water and sewer don't affect the tax cap.
Yeah. And when does that 113 get paid out, or did it already?
We've paid, I don't know if I printed the actual, I just got a bill today, but I think that was for water.
Okay.
I think we may have paid the whole sewer. There's 2 payments and
Okay.
interest charges.
Well, the reason I ask is because I sent an email out about it, if you remember. We had with the sewer, $13,000 in unpaid bills because they didn't submit for TV cameraing like a year and a half ago, which had $5,000 more than what they charged because they claimed they misread the contract. So between that $13,000 and a couple of other vouchers, we're going to need to make a budget transfer.
Correct.
There's not enough money in the sewer to handle all that.
That's
Because
right.
of that 13 grand. When we do that, we all want to go Christmas shopping. There's some things that need attention. And there's like, I think close to $1 million in the fund, reserve fund for the sewer.
The fund balance.
Not looking to spend all of it or anything like that. There's some things that could use some tender loving care. The generator down at Oakwood is there from day one. That's one thing down there. His truck could use a little bit of enhancement, a couple of cranes and a few pump stations and maybe the headworks building. But we don't know what we're doing with that yet. Are we making it bigger? We're leaving it the way it is. But to get through the year and pay the bills, we will have to do a withdrawal from that fund, however that's accomplished.
I talked to the
Okay,
state, so
okay,
it's
good.
all, in order to use the fund balance, all we need is a simple budget transfer, just like you would do any other budget transfer. So we would transfer from
Right.
the fund balance to the expense accounts that we're gonna be spending from.
Like I said, I want it to be a smart one that'll cover a few things.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to go into next year's budget.
And that's the whole debt schedule, if anybody has any questions.
It's a generator.
I have a question.
Sure.
Seems like it was 100 years ago, but it was only yesterday, the water fund.
Yes,
We won't have that paid off until 2033.
yes. Yep, 2033.
So somehow, I don't know why, I thought it was all paid for.
No, no, one part was, right, the old water, we paid the year before last, was the last payment on that.
Okay.
That's what you're thinking of. Mhm.
Where is that shown in here?
Bottom of the one page.
Did I send you this?
Kind of like finer print than the rest.
So here's the EFC water project. Here's the EFC sewer project, and here's the water project.
And that's 2033?
Yep,
All bonded stuff.
Yeah.
yep.
Like the sewer project, 20.
We paid until 2051.
All right, we all right?
I think so.
Everything else okay?
How's it with all the bonds? Are they fixed rate? What's the,
So the sewer and the water, they're through the EFC, the Environmental Facilities Corporation. The sewer, which is our most recent, there was a portion of the sewer project that was a grant, and there's a portion that's 0% financing, and there's a portion that's low-interest financing.
0% financing?
Mhm. Some of it.
Right on.
Yeah, I have the details in my office. I don't remember how much is.
Interest rates going up and everything is not really affecting us too
Yeah,
bad.
they gave
Yeah.
us $700,000.
The grant.
Without grant.
Right.
X amount of dollars, that's zero
Does that float that other one too, or?
The rate varies, but I have the schedule and I know what the rate is each year. You know,
But
it's
it's
low.
That's great news. Take it.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Kill it.